please welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah, and today I put together this look for you. It's just a quick, simple New Year's Eve tutorial. Guys, it is almost 2017. 2017. I don't know about y'all, but I'm so ready to have this year over and done with. But anyways, if you guys want to know how I got this simple New Year's Eve tutorial, please keep on watching. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So first things what I'm going to do is take the tape and I'm just going to put it diagonally next to my lid, and this is just for a sharper crease when I end up taking it off in the end. Then I'm going to take my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion, and this is in my Minor Sin, and I'm just going to apply that all over my lid, and I'm going to blend that in with my Real Techniques concealer brush. And then once that is all once that is all blended out, I am going to be taking my Airsupun loose face powder, and I'm just going to be setting my eyes. And this is just so when I am blending out all my eyeshadows, it's just a smoother, cleaner blend. So for the palettes today, I'm going to be using Violet Voss Laura Lee, and then Anastasia Beverly Hills Master Palette by Mario. I'm going to take Transition, which is the perfect transition shade. And then I'm taking my Morphe R34 brush, I believe it is. It is so loved, the numbers wore off. I'm going to be putting that directly in the crease on both sides. And just blending it out as I'm applying it. And then I'm going to be taking brownie points of that same palette and just going in the same spot and just deepening up that crease. And just I'm slowly over time building up my darker colors. You don't want to go in with the darkest color first because it's so much easier to build it up than it is to take it away. And then I am going to be taking Isabel and Violetta and going back between the two. And once again, just putting that in my crease and shading it down onto my lower lid. Then I'm going to be taking my eyeshadow primer potion again by Urban Decay. And I'm not doing this in any fancy order. I'm just kind of putting it all over my lid. And then I'm going to be taking Hollywood and putting it on the areas that I applied the eyeshadow primer. I'm going to be deepening up my crease again with NYC of that same palette. I'm also going to be taking the same synthetic brush as earlier, and I'm just going to be taking Fifth Ave and putting that directly on the same spot that I had already applied Hollywood and the primer potion. And I'm just going to keep going back and slowly deepening up my crease and adding more glitter. And making sure I'm blending out all of that. So I take off the tape, and as you can see, it's just a sharper corner without me having to go back in with a makeup wipe, so I just use tape this time. Next, I'm going to start with my brows. This is Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade, and I'm in the shade Medium Brown. And for my brush, this is also Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is number 12. Of course, I have to adjust my mirror all the time. So I'm just outlining. I'm starting with the bottom and then going in the top, and I'm just going to be filling out the outer corners with my Dip Brow Pomade, and then in a little bit I will go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo, and that is also medium brown as well. I was on the phone when this was happening, so if you're wondering why my face looked like that, it's because I was thinking through some stuff for work. So I'll take my powder and just fill in mainly the front half of my eyebrows. And then once that is all filled in, I'm going to be taking my NYX Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer. In a minute. There we go. I'm going to be taking my NYX Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer and just a little flat synthetic brush and just carve out my brows at the bottom. And then because I could have caused some harsh lines, I'm just going to go in and blend out the rest of the eyeshadow that was previously there. Then I'm using my Olay Regenerous Micro-Sculpting Cream. I'm just putting that all over my face. And that is just a moisturizer. And then for my primer, I am going to be taking Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. And this is just the pore minimizing one. Oh wait, I'm so crazy. I'm using my Makeup Pixie Mist spray. And I'm going to spray my entire face with that after I've moisturized. And once again, I'm on the phone for work. And then I'm going to take my Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. And this was just a sample. I've never actually used Smashbox primers before, but I did actually like this. For my foundation, I am taking my Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Foundation, and I am in the shade 4.5. I think this shade was a little dark for me, but it didn't look too bad throughout the day. And then I'm just going to be taking my beauty blender and blending it all out. I actually didn't really like this foundation. I don't know if it was the foundation or the primer, or it may have been the highlighter that I used, but throughout the day, my nose had just started kind of flaking off. So I don't know if they just all didn't play well together, but we'll see. I'll keep testing them out and we'll see how it works out. But as far as coverage, the coverage was great with this foundation. And then I'm going to contour and highlight. I'm using Tarte Shape Taped Concealer, and for the highlight, I will be using the shade Light Sand, and for the contour, I'm using Tan. I think Tan is more kind of a light tone for me. I need to get more of a cool tone concealer, but I just love these concealers so much. Look how full coverage that is. I had ran out of mine for a while, so I'm so happy that it is finally back. And I'm just going to blending my foundation back down to my neck, because that's when I realized that this is probably a little bit too dark for me. So now I'm going to contour. And just blend it all out with my beauty blender. I would get it on my lid.
So now that everything is blended out, I'm going to set my bronzer, and I am using the Benefit Hoola bronzer, and for the brush, I'm using my Morphe M530. And I have gone back and forth between the Morphe M530 and then the R5 pointed contour brush for Morphe as well, and I really have decided that my favorite bronzer brush is the M531. So now I'm going to be setting my highlight, and for that I'm using the Airsupun Loose Face Powder. I have gone back and forth between this and the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and they both seem to do really well for me, but the only difference is this powder is so fragranced. Like, if you put too much, you will suck that into your nose and it will stay with you for the rest of the day. It doesn't necessarily leave the smell on your face, but when it's there, it definitely, you can tell it's there. It makes its own appearance, very well known. And now I'm just going to let my face sit for about 5 minutes, and then while I'm doing that, I put on my false lashes, which are Kiss lashes, by the way, and I think that is 11. That's the type. And then for mascara, I will be using my Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. I'm gonna brush off everything that I have already baked. I'm going to be taking my Morphe R41 brush and just going back in with some of the shades that I had used previously and just blending out my lower lash line. I'm also going to be taking Fifth Ave and putting that in my crease as well, and kind of blending that in to where it's at on the lid. So once that's all done, I'm going to be putting the same mascara I used earlier and just putting it on my lower lashes. I really like this mascara. Now that I wear fake lashes, I'm not much of a mascara junkie like I used to be, so I'm pretty much just stuck on drugstore mascaras because my eyelashes have just gone so bad. So I just use regular cheap old mascara now. So I'm going to be taking Nars Orgasm and just this brush that I got in a set from Target and just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and kind of pushing it back into my contour. And then I'm going to be bronzing up my nose a little bit. When you bake, I feel like it takes a lot of the color away from your skin, so I always go back in again with some bronzer. And then I'm going to be taking my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfecting, and this is in the shade Moonstone. And I'm just going to be applying that on my face. This is just a little fan brush I got from Morphe. It is the Morphe M558 brush. I'm just going to put it on my cheeks, on my nose, a little bit on my forehead, on my temples. And on my eyebrow bone. I'm going to be setting my face. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. I have gone back in this between this and Max Fix Plus, and I just love this so much better. I mean, I know they do different things, but to set my face, I love that so much more. And then this is just a NYX lip pencil. I can't remember the shade exactly, but I'll have it listed in the description box below. And I'm just going to outline my lips. This is just a regular nude. I always outline it a little bit when I'm putting on liquid lipstick, just so it has a nice place to line up with. For my liquid lipstick, this is Kourt K by Kylie Cosmetics. What do you guys say, Kylie Cosmetics, or is it Kylie Jenner Cosmetics, or what is it? Do you just say by Kylie? I always say Kylie Cosmetics, but I feel like other people just know her so well personally, so they just say her name.
Alright, you guys, and that is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.